Hey guys, so on Twitter I talked about how I had a remote viewing session of the Metaverse that they are creating, and I kind of just wanted to give you guys more details and things like that, so I'm just going to record this really quickly. So basically, if you don't know what the Metaverse is, really quick little breakdown is it's like, think of like a virtual reality where you can socialize with other people. It's like social media, existing in a virtual reality that everyone could experience through like virtual reality goggles and things like that. So the metaverse is basically like, imagine being on Twitter and everyone who is on your feed, you're actually in a room with them basically, and you're actually talking and connecting with them and stuff like that. It's like well, that's the sweet way to say it, right? The less sinister way to say it. So that is what they have been talking about, creating. Sorry, can you move up? I'm sorry, I'm driving, and can we move up? Thank you. Okay, so I just got my lashes done, so I am in the process of like coming back home or whatever. And when I get my lashes done, I always astral travel. It's very easy for me to, and you probably don't care about this, but I just want to say this really quick. It's really easy, I noticed, for me to drift and like have astral travels, and like remote viewing sessions during my lash appointment, because it's like, how do I describe it? It's like that state of being conscious, but you're still unconscious. It's like that like haze, like right before you're waking up or right before you go to sleep, right? So it's like you're not exactly fully like sleeping yet. You're still kind of like aware, but you are drifting off enough to kind of be able to have your spirit go outside of your body, basically. So that's kind of the state that I get in when I get my lashes done, is because like I'm like falling asleep because I'm laying on the table for like 2 hours, but I can't fully go to sleep because someone's touching my eyes. You know what I mean? It's still kind of like that alertness. So just a quick little tip for those of you guys who want to like lucid dream and things like that. You want to be in that state where you can where you're conscious but not conscious, right? So that's why you always hear of like people in their lucid dreaming, they would hold something in their hand and hold it off of the bed and fall asleep, and then as soon as they fall asleep, that thing that was in their hand falls out of their hand and kind of jolts them like back into consciousness, but they're still kind of unconscious in that like hazy realm. That's exactly the key to lucid dreaming, astral traveling, so on and so forth. So just a little tip. But anyway, I had a session today. During my lashes, I was remote viewing this metaverse. I was experiencing it without virtual reality goggles. So I know they say they're creating it. I don't know if they're still in the process of creating it or if that's just what they're saying and it already exists. I like, these things already exist, to be honest. It's just like it doesn't exist in our reality yet, right? As far as people knowing of it, I guess you could say, right? So when I first got there, everything was white. The entire room that I was in, it was white. So I don't know if this is saying that this is like, it's not completely finished yet. I don't know if I kind of just like drifted into the space of the metaverse that hasn't been programmed or created yet, or what. But yeah, basically it was an all white room, but I don't know if that's saying that like that space hasn't been created yet, or if it's offline, or if these metaverses are completely based off of your imagination almost. And I'm going to get to why I believe that as well, even though I feel like the space that I went through, it was offline or not completely created. What I will say is I also do genuinely believe that these metaverses are going to be based off of your imagination. And here, let me just say it right now, actually. So, actually, no, because I have to explain something first for you guys to understand. So we're going to segue into that later. But basically, the room was all white, all white. And this immediately made me think of the fact that I actually already astral traveled to this metaverse, guys. Last year, maybe it was around the same time. And you know what's so crazy? If it's around the same time, that's actually really freaky. If I can find my tweet that I made, because I actually made a tweet about this when I actually astral traveled to this place, but I didn't know it was the metaverse because on an earth level, my knowledge wasn't aware of this metaverse that they're creating, right? I don't be tuned into like the news and like stuff like that. So I don't really be knowing what's going on because I don't need the news, obviously. Like I go to sleep and I get all the intel I need. But it's just crazy because I really do think it was around this time. And that's how I know like shit just operates in cycles, but it doesn't matter. Regardless, I was here before. So everything, when I was here before, what I saw, everything was all white. So again, that just may be what the reality is going to be like. Or again, it was just offline. It wasn't created yet. So basically, in the astral travel from a year ago, everything was all white and everybody was dressed in all white. But the realm that I was in, everyone was very unconscious, right? So before you could go into this metaverse, you have to remove your identity. In The Sims, in The Sims, they have what's called the plumb bob. It's like plumb bob, right? Plumb bob, something like that. The little green thing, the crystal on their head or whatever, they're like, you could call it their Merkaba, even though the Merkaba is kind of around your entire being and that's on top of their head or whatever. It's like a Merkaba, right? To show one's consciousness. That is a plumb bob, right? So before you could go into the metaverse, you had to remove your plumb bob. And the plumb bob is your identity. It's your consciousness. So in order to get into this metaverse, you have to remove your consciousness. You have to remove your identity. You have to remove your ego to exist in this metaverse. If you try to go in the metaverse with that on, there is going to send in a signal, high alert. So if you're someone with a very high frequency, if you're somebody who you have a really high frequency, you're like strong galactic being, highly intelligent, like somebody like me, not trying to flex, but it just is what it is, right? So I couldn't even exist in the metaverse without sending off signals, right? Because I tried to sneak in because I was like, you're not taking my consciousness or my identity. Like, that's like, we're not doing that, right? So I found a way to get in without removing my plumb bob. However, it sent off high alert, like a security system, something like that. So people were looking for me because somehow, some way, even if I removed my plumb bob, they would still know who I am based off of my frequency. So anyone with a very high frequency in these metaverses, you are going to be on high surveillance. They don't have to worry about everybody else because everybody else is going to be in this unconscious state. But if you're somebody who has a very high frequency, very high spiritual and energetic intelligence, you will literally send off these like radar signals almost, and they're going to have you on like high surveillance. And when I went in to this metaverse last year in this astral travel, they were looking for me because I came in with a very high frequency and I didn't take off my plumb bob. Well, I cloaked it. So I made it seem like I removed it, but I just cloaked it with energy. Which is like something that you can do when you're like in the astrals. You can cloak your energy, so it's like you're there, but you're not really there. It's like basically being invisible, whatever. So I cloaked my plumb bob, and when I went in, I was able to see some stuff before they tried to get somebody to like take me out, basically. So what I saw was, again, everybody was in this unconscious state, and we were in a cafeteria. They had like, it's like a food court. So they had a food court, they had like places to sit, but everything was basically a food court. And I don't know if I'll talk about it right now, but I noticed in the astrals, a lot of things that have to do with the in-between state or a state where it's very unconscious for people. they're food courts. So that makes me think of like the mall and like cafeterias and things like that, and how the energy that those carry, because every time I'm experiencing a very lifeless reality in my astral travels, the food courts are always where we go. But anyway, yeah, so everything was all white. I don't know if you guys have seen American Horror Story, the season that's on right now with the aliens and everything, and the place where they're keeping the people who they're like trying to create hybrid babies through. They're only allowed to dress in all white, and they are in this like all white cafeteria. Wow, wait. They only show them being in a cafeteria. Wow. I just said the food courts. Wow. Okay, so we'll dive into this in a different video, because there's something here with cafeterias and food courts and the concept of being unconscious and unaware or lifeless. So yeah, all I was able to see were like, it was just a complete white space. Everything was white, and it was just a bunch of like tables, benches, and then we were in like a food court, but everything was white. Everyone was dressed in white, and the entire space was white. But the feel of the place was very lifeless. It felt empty, and it was full of people. Like there were so many people there, but everything just felt lifeless and empty, and even very sinister. It felt creepy. It felt like where I was at was a very low state. So I couldn't really see much more other than that, because they literally like got a security guard or whatever to try to get me to leave. I can't remember exactly how I was able to come out of the metaverse. I think I like killed myself, but I don't know if that's like just me, because every time I'm in an astral like travel or whatever and someone's trying to kill me, or I just don't want to be there anymore, I normally kill myself. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's just, it's what I personally do to escape realities. But I normally notice that I do that when people are trying to take me out first. It's like, you can't take, it's like, I'm basically like, you're not about to take me out the game. I'll take myself out, but you're not going to. Or if they're trying to, like, one time I was in this astral travel, and they were trying to basically pin something on me that I didn't do, something with the ritual, whatever. So I literally jumped in front of a car to escape, and then I woke up. But so I don't know if that's just, it was just me, or to escape the metaverse. It's like, you gotta like, but yeah, so but there was something very symbolic about the way I chose to be taken out. It was like something with like these symbols. I have to go back in my dream diary if I could find it, but I might not be able to recover it because my laptop is broken and I can't turn it back on, and I had all of my dreams on it, so that's great. But anyway, my dreams and my astral travels, but I think it may be backed up on my phone if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know. But yeah, so that exact metaverse that I was in last year was where I was again today. Everything was white, but I didn't see anything at all. No people, no tables, chairs, or things like that. It was just white, blank, and I was there, and it's crazy. But to go back to what I was saying about the whole concept of me thinking that the metaverses are going to be based off of like our imagination and our thoughts and things like that. So the reason why I say that is because in Masonic lodges, or Masonic, whatever, in the Mason lodges or whatever, one of the things that they do, if you've ever seen Lovecraft's Country, it's exactly like how it was in Lovecraft Country, where they were all in their rooms and they were basically experiencing nightmares, right? That's exactly how it actually happens. As somebody who has gone through that in lifetimes, that's exactly how it happens. And I was actually shocked to see Lovecraft Country touch on something so specific that actually happens in these lodges. Actually, Lovecraft Country, the episodes I've seen so far, very spot on for the lodges and like how that works with masonry and stuff like that. Very spot on. But yeah, so the reason why I say that is because, yeah, in the lodges, they basically kind of like have you experience your worst nightmares basically in your rooms. And I feel like that's kind of like what they're going to do with these metaverses. It's like it's going to be based off of your imagination. And what they're going to do is put you in such a low state all the time that you're just experiencing like very low level realities, or very like nightmare type realities. And they kind of already do it on Earth, you know what I mean, putting us in these very low vibrational spaces with all of these rituals and deaths and violence and stuff like that. It's kind of like we're living in like a nightmare, I guess you could say, based on how you perceive your reality. For me, it's not a nightmare because I don't like Earth. To me, is just another place to be, but some people do consider Earth a prison. They consider it hell, whatever. So again, the way we experience life right now is basically us, again, experiencing, in a way you could call it, our imaginations based on our perception. So in the metaverse, I am almost positive it's going to function the same, where your metaverse it's like you're on the same realm as other people. So there's still some common ground, kind of like on Earth. We all see a blue sky, but my life in reality is different than Timothy's life in reality, even though we both see a blue sky. The metaverse is going to function the same way. So there's going to be a lot of common denominators, but a lot of it is going to be based off of your imagination. But it's going to be extremely literal. It's going to be like a dream realm, actually, is what I can really call it, guys. The metaverse is like a dream realm. It's like you know what? You know how like what I've been trying to decode something with iCloud and Apple. I've been trying to decode this for the longest, but I'm having a download right now as we're speaking. And the cloud makes me think of like dreaming and the Piscean Neptunian state of being unconscious or programmed or lifeless or MK Ultra. So the metaverse is going to function in the same way, but it's like something with clouds. But yeah, anyway, the metaverse is literally going to be a dream state, a dream realm. And so when you put on the virtual reality goggles, you're going to be basically going into a dream while you're still awake. It's basically like you're going to be lucid dreaming. That's what the metaverse is, lucid dreaming. So basically this metaverse they're creating is like Earth itself, but it's going to be even 10 times more removed and harder to get out of, or harder to be conscious, because it's removing you further away from consciousness. These metaverses they're creating, the internet is another form or another realm of reality that they've created that removes us further from consciousness, or the matrix, the original matrix, the mother. This metaverse is the same way, is removing you further from consciousness, is removing you further from the original matrix. So I just wanted to share this with you guys and let you know what I saw. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about it, just let me know. I am going to tell you guys, you know, what I'm seeing for Halloween. I'm actually really looking forward to my Halloween astral travel. I always have great astral travels on Halloween night. You guys know, with Halloween and Halloween night, basically the realms are all existing at once. So the spiritual realm and the material realm, or, you know, the living and the dead, all happening in one realm of reality at the same time. So this is the time where spirits can walk amongst the living, because it's like their realm and our realm kind of smushed together, operating in one. So I always get really great astral travels, and also really great manifesting happens during that time. So I'm excited to see what happens last year. That's when I saw Beyonce and Rihanna and stuff like that, and I saw them on this big ship and a war going on, and the things that I got from that astral travel actually ended up kind of showing itself throughout the year of 2021. So we're going to see what I see on Halloween. And yeah, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. I think I'm going to make another recording for you guys about the download I got about Halloween. I tweeted about it, but basically I was saying how we are in Halloween energy already. Tonight is actually Halloween. So I'm recording this on Sunday. What day is it today? Is this the 24th? I think this is also Drake's birthday, which is very interesting that it's happening tonight, considering since he's very connected to Lilith. And we'll get into that, but he's connected to Lilith. So I know he has his fun on Halloween, but it's crazy. His birthday, I'm pretty sure, is the 24th, and that's tonight. And this is actually the real Halloween. And time is going to be paused from today all the way up into the 31st. So it's going to be a week-long Halloween night. So the realms of reality, it's here. It's all existing in one. So the Halloween energy, we're going to be feeling it all week. Spirits, all of it. Paranormal activity, all of it. So please make sure you are being careful. Carry your amethyst, especially if drinking. Carry birch leaves. Make a mojo bag for protection. Seesaw, garlic, whatever you got to do. Stay protected out here, okay? So I'll see you guys later.